What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain. Oh, I said captain instead of colonel. I'm sorry.
It happens. Flashbacks.
Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang. And here, joining me in the virtual studio, is the king of video games and resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. What's going on, Adrian?
I'm doing all right, my good sir. How about yourself? Another Monday in the can.
Yeah, we made it. We survived. Doing pretty good. Work's been a little crazy. I had a project that popped up on Friday that has to be done by the end of this week. I'm like, oh shoot. But so today was busy at work, but the biggest thing with since getting this new job is like I just love it so much. Like even though it's like crazy and like stressful in the sense that like there's a time crunch, I'm so glad I have a job that like is just super fun and awesome. So I don't know. To me, Mondays never really feel like Mondays because it's just like, oh, well, who cares? Like this is great.
That is the best thing. You know how many people there are that just, a lot of people say I have to go to work today. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you get to say I get to go to work today. Yeah. You get to look forward to it, man. That's awesome. Huge privilege for sure.
Like I know not many people get that. I don't want people to think like I'm rubbing it in your faces. Like
no. No, that's something to be celebrated. You have to do that for the people who can't.
But man, yeah, like it's been such a blast having this new job. That's for sure. Like Mondays and I mean every day. It's so great. And not that I didn't work for it either. Holy cow! It was finally a promise being fulfilled that was a promise for like 6 years. It was like every year, like it's gonna happen this year. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And I was just like sweating it out. Like, okay, one of these days I can stop spraying for bugs. I can finally get out of the 110 degree heat. Get this backpack full of chemicals on my back. Oh man, finally made it. So yeah, it's awesome. I enjoy it. And it's definitely not something I wasn't sure if I would, because it's like they always say like, well, there's two things. I feel like you hear both sides of it. Some people are like, oh, if your job is, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And then the other side of it is
not true.
Yeah. And then the other side of it is, like don't ever make your hobbies or the things you enjoy your job because it'll just ruin it. Like it's always kind of like the extremes. And I don't know. Like I feel like,
if I could do Garrett, we say this all the time. Yeah. If I could do this and make a decent living off of it, I would do it until I could not do it anymore.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was just about to say. Like those are like the two extremes. Either it's the worst thing or the best thing. And to me, it's like there's definitely something like right in the middle there, like a happy medium. But it's definitely worth it. Like I would, if anyone's ever scared, like I don't want to take the plunge because I don't know if it'll work, or I don't know if it'll be, if I'll ruin it for myself or something. Like, nah, don't worry about that. Like I'm still loving it. Granted, I've only been doing it for like 6 months, but still, like the honeymoon period, I feel like is wore off to an extent. Like I'm doing real work.
You would know whether or not if it's like,
this is great. Yeah. So, man, it's good stuff. Yeah, so JJ, if you haven't noticed, JJ
still dead to us.
Rest in peace, JJ. Dead to us. He's like I mentioned last week. He's cheating on us with his own show, the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast. If you haven't listened to it, you should go check it out. But they're actually out. I think they're at Raw tonight, if I remember right. So they're at some WWE event. Or some wrestling event, I should say. Who knows? Maybe it's not even WWE. Maybe I have the event wrong. I thought he told me he was at Raw. I was looking at pictures. I'm like, let's see if I can see him in the crowd. But then I remembered how short he was. You just see the bald head. You wouldn't see anything else.
And then I was telling you, I said, dude, 60% of WWE audience looks exactly like JJ, so it's gonna be hard to pick him out of a crowd now. Come on,
it's all the same. There was one picture. I'm like, oh, Adrian, I think I see him, and because it does, it's like bald. He had glasses, t-shirt, similar build, all this stuff.
Beard.
And I'm like, yeah, and then I was like, well, he had a mask on. It's hard to tell. Yeah, there might have been something there though. But then I was like, nah, that guy looks too tall. I can't be him. Oh man. But man, well, before we get any further in the show, I need a quick shout out that this episode is brought to you by Pepsi Cola. You guys all thought this bit died.
I quit.
This week
This
brought
is
to you
my
by,
last show.
by Pepsi Nitro
Nope.
Vanilla. And I just wanted to
You thought JJ wasn't not here was bad?
Mm.
You're getting ready for a whole world of hurt. You better not. You better stand up and go drink that off camera.
This is the new Nitro. Smaller, it says smaller bubbles, smoother taste. That's how it works.
That just means they left it in the warehouse for a little bit longer so it could go flat. Look at that, selling you expired soda.
So good.
Pepsi.
So
you didn't even put any ice, dude. Oh, warm temperature. Ooh, man. Room temperature flat soda.
Get yours today at your local convenience store.
Only buy PepsiCo.
Oh my God. I had it in the fridge. It is ice cold. It just came out a little bit ago. But boy, I opened that can and it just like blew up all over.
I tell you what, if we ever figure out a way to get big enough to get sponsored by Pepsi, that's a you sponsorship. They're gonna sponsor you. I will turn that down.
I'm 100% down.
Now, if there's a way that we can be sponsored by Pepsi and you can do the ads, that way I don't have to do the ads, but I can still collect the bag for the show. Good to go.
All right. Yeah.
Because I will drink a Coke on camera while we're sponsored by Pepsi. You better believe
it. You seriously wouldn't even sip on it.
I would take the money.
You wouldn't sip on a Pepsi?
Pepsi, unless there's a way that we can do a cross sponsorship with Costco Pizza. That's the only way. That's the only time that that Pepsi is palatable is when it's during a pizza party with Costco Pizza. That's it. There's no other food on earth that it tastes okay with.
Well, you haven't tried the vanilla draft cola flavor, Nitro Pepsi, now infused with nitrogen.
Look at all this stuff they got to do to it to make it palatable and make it good.
Yeah, Yogurt Archangel in chat says, "Don't lie to yourself. They're the same thing, except Pepsi tastes better."
We need mods. We need to get mods so I can just no, timed out.
I mean, you're a mod. Get in there. Get up in there. Time him out. No,
time him out.
Don't time him out. He's right. He's right. You can't time out.
He's not right. You know what? You know what they have to do to Coke to make it good? Put it in a glass bottle. That's it. They got a nitro brew Pepsi and put what is it, like a coffee mix or something like that in there? All of that extra stuff.
This one's just vanilla. It's not the coffee.
Oh, vanilla.
Coca-Cola. What are you talking about? Coca-Cola's the one with the coffee. Pepsi doesn't have a coffee flavor.
We're talking about straight Coke, straight Pepsi, right?
Yes. There's no coffee in Pepsi, though.
There's caffeine.
There's caffeine in Coke, too.
Yeah, but I'm saying Pepsi has to do all these different kind of things to keep up with just regular Coke, right? Not mentioning the Cokes that they do outside of the regular Coke.
What it is Pepsi already...
Like, you can't even get past our original thing. You want to compete with our coffee stuff, our vanilla stuff, our cherry stuff? Come on, man.
I think what it is Pepsi is so successful with the original. They're like, we got to come up with new stuff because people just eat it up every time. That's what it is.
You know what I want? Wait a minute. I'm reading chat. Bro, Coke literally does all the same nonsense. They do, but Pepsi, that's the thing, is Coke can do that. Coke has the leverage in the what's the word? The sauce and the juice to do that.
You tell me what the word is. Garbage,
right?
Trash.
Pepsi has to do all these things just to compete with regular Coke. That's my point. You're not when you make vanilla Pepsi, when you make cherry Pepsi, when you make all these different kinds of what was it, Crystal Pepsi, when you do all this, it's just to try to compete with regular Coke. You're not even getting past that. You're not even in the door yet. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that Coke doesn't do the same things with these weird flavors, but I'm saying Pepsi's not even competing with those yet because you haven't even got to the same level of regular Coke. That's all.
I don't know.
Watch. Just watch when this episode drops. Go in the Discord. You'll see.
Well, we will see. I'm sure we will. More than likely, it'll be the dog pile against me. That's how it usually goes. But
you had a couple of people willing to die on that wrong hill.
We had one. We had Sir Prince-Lot in there. He's a good guy. He knows what he's talking about. You know. He even said that was like the best clip, like the video of him at, I don't know what restaurant he was at, had Coke and Pepsi, but that was a video.
Some
clip.
trader restaurant.
He's holding his phone and he puts the cup up to Coke and then steps back and it kind of like shakes his head and like walks back over to Pepsi and gets some Pepsi. And I'm like, what kind of magical soda fountain is this that has both in it?
Oh my god. It's the what's that country? The one that's a pacifist.
Canada?
No, it's a neutral.
Switzerland.
Yeah, it's the Switzerland, whatever that place was.
Okay. Yeah, the Switzerland of restaurants.
Of soft drinks.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about huge Final Fantasy VII announcements and a new rumor on God of War Ragnarok. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Kajoma101. Kajoma, we need to come up with a new name for him because I feel like we wore out the Kajunior a little bit. We don't have to come up with it now. I'm just saying. Put it in the back of your head. Kajoma01, Bumple Smash, previously known as Bleep Bloop, but they informed me they want to go buy Bumple Smash now because they're going to start streaming soon. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe we'll see. And congrats for jumping into the streaming life. It's fun. And Eddie Martin. Eddie is just doing his Eddie thing over there. I don't know. I got nothing to say about Eddie.
He's just sitting out there.
He's just living his best life playing Shredder's Revenge.
Looking at some Hollow Knight. Pronouncing Super Nintendo wrong, that's his deal.
Oh, man. And our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. 1 second, I just remembered the AC is running. You guys probably can't hear me very well. I always forget.
I can hear you fine.
I know you probably can, but sometimes it's weird with stream and it's weird on it'll definitely be weird on my recording. So sorry for all you podcast listeners. You had to have the freaking AC on the background.
Sorry, Garrett wanted to not die in San Diego heat.
It was like, my car said it was like 98 today when I was going to get my haircut.
Get ready. Tomorrow is supposed to be the real hot day. They're talking about up in NorCal here. They're talking triple digits tomorrow. It's like, ooh,
yeah.
Baby.
I don't miss that. Like living in Modesto before, like I was saying, like working outside, 110-degree heat with a big old backpack on my back. I'm lugging around. I'm like, trash. I hated it.
Kill me now.
Yeah. Down here, it doesn't quite get as hot, but it's a little bit more. It's a little humid though. So like, even though it's not as hot, you definitely feel it differently. I feel like. Anyways, join us at patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can get episodes early and ad-free, just like this show, and our Super Gamer Book Club, hosted by Adrian. The new episode that's out right now for Patreon supporters is Super Mario World with Patrick and Mark from Nintendo Cartridge Society. The free episode, if you're still on the fence, wondering, hey, should I support these folks? You can go over to any of your podcast services or youtube.com/supergamerboys and watch or listen to episode from a couple months back, Streets of Rage 4 featuring Eddie Martin, in the upcoming episode coming out, I guess, next week. Normally it used to be the last Friday of the month. Obviously we're not doing that this month because the last Friday would be this week and we haven't recorded it or finished the game yet. So next week, probably on Thursday. So hey, you'll get it early. You will be getting Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII from the PSP. Excited about that one, especially with the new remake announced, which we're going to talk about later in the news. But we'll talk.
Baby.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about our Patreon later on the show. Let's also give a quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music. The music that you hear right now in the background. Excuse me. I'm getting hiccups from those bubbles. All that nitrogen in my body. Too much.
All that mediocrity coming out, that's what it is.
Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate. The music that you hear right now in the background comes from those folks. They make incredible music that you can help support by listening to on Spotify, which is in the link, the show description below, over on Apple Music, and I believe they have their stuff up on Bandcamp. So look for those folks. Check out their tunes. They make good stuff. All right. It is now time. Check the mail.
I was trying to find my flip phone because I was gonna do the Crisis Core bit. You were gonna be Angeal, and I was gonna say, something Zacky. I don't know, like, you know, something that he would say, "Hey, Angio, did you check your mailbag yet?" And then I was gonna get up and start doing squats, you know, like Zach likes to do.
I love, that's one thing I've been loving from Final Fantasy is, I don't know, it's supposed to be all this futuristic, crazy, cool technology, and then like there's winging out their flip phones in Crisis Core. I'm like, I love that. It's their little Razor, Motorola Razor.
But you know what though? For a long time, their flip phones over in Japan were more advanced than smartphones here. So they still use flip phones there to this day. Some people do.
Hey, I mean, if they could ever make a flip iPhone, I'm down. You know, if they if they can make a foldable screen that actually works. What was it? The Galaxy had that one, and it kept like they was dying on people, wasn't it? I think Samsung made one, and it wasn't great. But maybe Apple will figure it out one day, and way overcharges as they do.
But it'll work.
No, so you were gonna send the mailbag over by SMS there, but what if I just send my buddy Sonic over? You can just run up the coast real quick, pick it up. Right. So
let me grab it. Yep, here we go.
Hey, head on out.
Let me open my window. Whoa, Sonic, hold on. You can't come in here like that, man. You're gonna knock all my stuff over. Here, just take it. And tell him to work on your game.
Wait. Did you give him a tip? He likes chili dogs.
Can I Venmo you? Okay, cool. All right, beat it.
All right, sounds good. He'll stop at an A&W on the way home. Do they have A&W restaurants here in America? I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds weird coming from an American, because I am very much American. But I lived in Canada for a few years, and they have A&W restaurant, like fast food restaurants, like the root beer. Like they have full on like a fat. Do they have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're tied to KFC's because KFC owns both restaurants, but they're
interesting. Thing. Okay, up there, they're just a separate thing. I just feel like I've never seen them around here, and so I was thinking about that the other day.
No, like, they are very much a thing, and their root beer is still great.
Oh, the root beer is good, and I just love how like just unconventional their menu is. Like it really is just a bunch of like hot dogs, chili cheese dogs, like
cheese curds.
That's how it goes. At least in Canada, it was just like this progression into insanity. Like a number one is like just a plain hot dog. Number two, hot dog with some onions. Number three, hot dog, onions, and chili. And then the cheese.
Ultra
and then, like,
chili cheese dog with 2 buns.
By the time you get to like the higher numbers, it's just like everything in the kitchen is on this hot dog.
Yogurt in the chat said A&W, mug, or barges. All right, I'm gonna set you up here, Yogurt. A&W, barges, mug, and you get mug if they don't have anything else. That's the hierarchy.
I think I like Bargs a little better than A&W. I think that'd be my number. I think I'd swap your top, your 1 and 2. Yeah, but mug is definitely on the bottom.
Okay, I mean this is just of the mass market ones. Like IBC murders all of these. I don't know if you ever had IBC.
Oh, in the glass bottles, right?
Yeah,
those are great. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, it's on another level. But we're talking about mass produced, like everybody can get it.
Okay, where was I? I was somewhere. I think I was visiting it. Was it in Pennsylvania? And there is a white birch, like root beer or white birch beer. And it has a similar taste to root beer. It's kind of like in that root beer family, and it's really good. It is different, but I was shocked.
I'm not opposed if it's good.
And it's like some local thing though. You can only get kind of like in Wisconsin. There's a brand of root beer, Sprecker's root beer. You can only get it in Wisconsin, and it's really freaking good.
Okay. I believe you.
Oh man, I miss Spreckers. They make more than just root beer. They do a whole bunch of different sodas. But man, I wonder if there's a way to import that, like buy it on Amazon or something directly from their site.
Dude, do a search. I'm sure there's a way that you could get it.
Spreckers is so good. There's a barbecue place. I guess it's story time with Garrett. Forget questions. It's story time with Garrett. When I lived in Wisconsin.
Fine with that.
I was in Waukesha. I don't recall the name of the barbecue place because we just called it like, hey, do you want to go get you want to go to the barbecue place? Like that's just what we called it. Oh no, Pat's Ribs. I think it was called Pat's Ribs. That's what it was called. And in Waukesha, if it's still there, go check it out. They have
Pat's Ribs paying us for this? for this advertisement here?
They don't have to. They paid me in delicious food for years. That's not true. They didn't pay me. They made delicious food for me for years. They have this. You can get a fry basket, and you can either choose like brisket or pulled pork or whatever meat you want. And it's just this giant basket full of fries, and just like the brisket or whatever meat you get, just piled up on top. And they had this little wooden like carrier that they'd hand you with like 6 homemade barbecue sauces, going from like sweeter, mild ones all the way up to like spicy, like really hot barbecue sauces. And you just douse the thing and just eat it up with a plastic fork. And it was but I'd get a Spreckers there. It's so good with the Spreckers root beer, or their cherry cola flavor was really good. But yeah, shout out to Pat's Ribs in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Oh shoot, Yogurt Archangel in the chat found it. Root beer 12-pack from Spreckers. Oh
there
baby,
you go.
It's $35, but
that's not bad for a 12-pack, especially of something that you can't get normally.
Dang,
you just get it like maybe a few times a year, and then just
it's free shipping.
Especially with summer coming up,
free shipping. There we go.
Those will hit super good.
Oh man, cool. All right, should we actually get on with the show here? We are.
Yeah, I guess so.
We are like 25 minutes in, and we've done nothing.
Would people expect any less of us?
I mean, this is the fun stuff, right? No one actually wants to hear us talk about video games. They just want to hear us
exactly
screw around, which is why you should support us at Patreon so we can get that extra show unlocked at the $100 mark. So get over there and support us. But anyways, this first question. Oh, by the way, thanks, Sonic. You can have. Thanks for helping out.
Sonic's been standing there. He's doing his little foot tap thing for like 5 minutes. He's like, Garrett, what are you doing talking about root beer? I gotta go. I gotta get back to my mediocre looking game.
This first question comes from CJM, and they ask, if you could spend just one day at a gaming company to talk with devs, get insider access to upcoming unannounced games, etc., which would you choose and why? Now, I brought this up to you earlier and you needed some time to think. If you still need a little more time, I have a couple answers.
Go ahead, because I know it's Naughty Dog.
But no, not Naughty Dog.
Really?
Why would it be Naughty Dog? I don't care about Naughty Dog. Screw Naughty Dog.
You don't care about Naughty Dog.
No. Okay,
you don't need to. But look, here's the thing. You don't need to go to Kojima Productions, right? We know what they're working on at this point.
We know what they're working on. No, actually, so this is tricky because I guess this isn't technically. Is this a game dev? I don't know. They partner with game devs. I want to be a fly on the wall, or I guess I don't have to, because it's this question. I can just sit in on the meeting. I want to sit in on the meetings with the Disney gaming division and hear about their Star Wars projects specifically. I mean, the Marvel stuff would be cool and their other projects, but I want to know what's coming down the pipe for Star Wars games so bad. Like if I could sit in those meetings.
Good old Disney John Drake. You should just tweet at him. Hey, can I intern for you? I mean, he's right there.
Maybe. Mm-hmm, yeah, they're up in LA now, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe I can I'll leave this podcast and go join What's Good Games,
Work your way up, man. Do what you got to do. I get it.
Okay, peace. But no, yeah. So that, I mean, yeah, my first answer, my joke answer is going to be like, oh, Kojima Productions. Cause it would be cool to like see stuff like, hey, don't show anyone else this, but here's a picture of whatever concept art. Mm-hmm. But realistically, my non-joke answer would be Disney, and just be able to see the slate of Star Wars games. Like we know about Jedi
Survivor.
Survivor. I almost said Fallen Order. Survivor, but like other than that, do we know?
Are you talking about the Eclipse? Isn't that what it's called?
We know about Amy Hennig's game, but we don't know anything about it. We know like it's a thing, but we don't know. So
I don't need to know anything about it. I just needed to know it exists, and then just call me when it comes out.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
I just love Star Wars so much. And I guess right now I'm in like this super hype mode because of Obi-Wan. Like I've been loving Obi-Wan so much. I haven't talked about on the show at all.
Last week's episode.
Oh man.
Was so good.
Oh man.
It was so good.
At the end there when it's like
people might have not seen it.
I'm not gonna say it, but like something happens at the end and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like that's so freaking cool. Like I was just like so giddy. My wife, she was just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that. Like, is that possible? I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That was epic. Yeah, if you know, like if you, I was like, I told him too. I was like, I started citing sources. I'm like, well, you know, in this game or this TV show or this thing, it's just like these are the places. Oh man, it's such a good show. Go watch Obi-Wan.
Sick.
What developer though would you like to get insider access on?
I mean, so they launched Hades about 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, and I don't think we're getting any DLC because they don't normally do DLC for their games. They usually put them out. They'll do updates maybe. So usually when they put them out, that means it's done. So I want to know what's going on at Supergiant. What are we in pre-production meetings about? What are we, you know what I mean? Where's our head at for the next game?
Right.
I mean, I always say that I consider them one of the best studios, if not my favorite studio working today. So I would love to see exactly where they are in regards to their new game.
So I'm looking at their the 4 games that they have. So far, their trend is every 3 years a game comes out. 2011, 2014, 2017, 2020. So hypothetically, a new game is coming out next year from them. If they actually...
What if it's at the Direct? What if it... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it would have been at Games Fest.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, maybe we get something at Game Awards.
Yeah,
okay,
that's true too.
Coming this fall, 2023 or something. But dude, yeah. That'd be sick.
My other one would be Nintendo, but not necessarily straight up Nintendo. Yeah, I want to go to see Nintendo R&D 1, which is the ones that make WarioWare and Rhythm Heaven, because we have to freaking have a Rhythm Heaven coming. There's no way we don't. We got WarioWare out the door. It was great. You're gonna really sit here and tell me, with all the stuff that this Switch has, with all the motion controls, all the buttons, all the whistles, all the vibration, all of that you can use for musical games, you're not going to do a Rhythm Heaven with it? Come on now. They have to be working on something, Garrett. I don't know what it is. Is it DLC for WarioWare? It's got to be something.
Got to be something.
I need to know. I got to be a fly on the wall.
What a good game WarioWare was. And I just feel like no one talked about it. Like it came out, like I beat it, and I even started doing some of the challenge stuff. I enjoyed it so much, but no one ever wanted to play multiplayer with me. And then I feel like none of my other than you, like no one else is like plays it, talks about it, even in the
That's what I was gonna say. Is
the
you
industry.
Forget that you and I are part of the 2 of the 10 people who actually care about WarioWare. So
unfortunately,
what can you do?
It's such a good game. Go play Wario. If you have a Switch, go get WarioWare. So good. This next question comes from Kajoma01. What is the worst Mario power-up? He does specify from the mainline platformers, but I feel like, I mean,
are we talking like 1, 2, 3 world?
I don't know. I don't know what he means by that, but let's just say, what's the worst power-up? And then he wants to know what the best is. What's your favorite one?
The coolest one is the what's the name of it? It's the cherry that lets you do multiples of yourself in Mario 3D World.
What?
That one rules.
I don't know if I've ever gotten that before. I only played a little bit of 3D World because when they came out with that pack for Switch where it's 3D World and Bowser's Fury. I bought that, but I never played the whole thing, so I had never heard of that. That's crazy.
It's a cherry that every time you pick it up, it creates another clone of you. So you can have like 4 or 5 different Marios running around. And you need that many to solve different puzzles. So like you need 3 Marios over here, you need 2 Marios over here, and you have to figure out a way to get them all separated and into where they got to go.
So like when you press up on the stick, like they all just go up.
They
and
all
like,
run.
Like they
all do the same thing. They all jump. They all run. They all do that. So that's probably the most innovative one I think that they've had in a long time. The worst one, which I told you before the show, is that stupid Koopa shell one that they had in New Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
It's where you put it on and it's a blue Koopa shell, and when you get up to max speed, you duck inside the shell and it just keeps going. It has the momentum of a Koopa shell. So it just goes back and forth and bounces off of stuff, back and forth, and it's impossible to stop, feels like, where you want it to stop. And it's just It's terrible.
I think my least favorite is the Super Bell. It turns you into Cat Mario. That was in Super Mario 3D World.
Really?
I was not a fan of that. Like, it's just, at least to me, it was in the first, again, I've only played the first maybe world or something of 3D World. And it was just always so hard to control. Like, every time it came up, like, it was annoying to control, I felt like, with like, to do basic movements was fine, but then like, oh, there's like a little secret over there. I'm trying to get to that secret. And it just like doesn't work like you think it would or it should. And I just always got so frustrated with it. I thought it was so stupid. The way he just like runs around too, like even the movement, just if you're on flat ground, like I'm just on flat ground and he does the whole like he's running around like a cat. And he gets too much momentum and then he slides too far and he falls off the edge of the world. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, yeah, stuff like that was just really frustrating with the Cat Mario. But my favorite, I gotta go with the classic. Like, I think just the Cape Feather from Worlds, so good. Like, just getting those little super cape on, flying around, love it.
Getting that good rhythm where you can just pass the whole level if you time the bounce just good enough.
The first time I did that, I was like, I feel like I just broke the game. Like I felt like I cheated. Like I felt so
you're
much,
being
like,
rewarded
so much
for
guilt,
your excellent
so much
timing.
guilt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. But
the game just told you, sir, you have godlike timing. This is your reward for it.
Oh man. This next question comes from Eddie Martin. Ditching the Rushmore format for this one. So, with Shredder's Revenge getting a positive reception from fans and critics alike, what do you think the odds are for us to get an X-Men beat 'em up in the same style? Similar to the classic arcade version, but with new features? If so, which X-Men would you like to be able to play as?
So I said this before the show too. I said, with Shredder's Revenge coming out and being as good as it is, as phenomenal as it is, I think the odds of that is very high. Mm-hmm. I think because the same people that made the Turtles game made the X-Men game, and they're both great.
Oh, okay.
So I can definitely see, and that's what I want to happen is I want Tribute, who made this Turtles game, to make the X-Men game. I don't want anybody else to make that game now but them, because they've shown how good they are with the beat 'em up genre at this point. But if they did make an X-Men game, I would definitely want them to still make it 6 players like the old arcade game was. And I was saying there's a bajillion X-Men at this point.
So many.
So, but I said you gotta at least, you gotta have your cores. You gotta have your Wolverine. You gotta have your Storm. You gotta have your Cyclops.
Yeah.
What else?
Gotta have a Professor X.
Yeah, Professor X, Gambit, Beast, and Rogue.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is like,
I'd want like a Nightcrawler.
and
I
Jean
like
Grey.
Nightcrawler. I'd want Nightcrawler in there.
Yeah. But I'm saying like there's like 85 million X-Men. So they can do that and still limit it to 6 slots, but that's a lot of work to create a lot of X-Men like that to pick from.
Right.
So it might end up costing a good little bit more than Turtles. But we could get it. I definitely think there's a possibility, especially with Turtles being out and being great. So we'll see.
Yeah, imagine if they had like 12 options. Like, yeah, it's a 6-player game, but what if it was like, I just envision it like with the old arcade games, how it was like the tiles and it was like 3 across, 4 down or whatever. So you get like I imagine that popping up on the screen, like, okay, pick out of these 12 or whatever. So
that'd be smart.
Like just that, because there are so many, and like you're not going to make everyone happy, but if you can make most people happy, like, granted, it's a lot of work, but still, you can get a good swath of the samples of X-Men there with that. But yeah, Nightcrawler was always so cool to me. Just like especially I never read a ton of like the comics or anything like that, but just from like
just his power set,
the cartoons and the movies. But yeah, like just teleporting all over the place.
I thought it was so cool, and then I realized that you can mess up, and I'm like, oh, now you've put a hamper on that for me. I don't know if I want to do that one right now.
Yeah. All right. Next question. It comes from Sir Prince-A-Lot, and he asked, I want to hear your guesses for how many farming planting games there will be in all of Game Fest videos next year. Bonus points if you can predict a common character between more than one of them. Bears, witches, and frogs. This is a joke. So if you guys missed out on Game Fest weekend this year with all the events, go over to youtube.com/supergamerboys. We covered all the main ones, so you can watch Summer Game Fest on Thursday, Day of the Devs from Thursday. We did Wholesome Direct on Saturday and the Xbox Bethesda Showcase on Sunday. Go watch our reactions and recaps at the end. But at the Wholesome Direct, every game was a farming simulator with either...
Where you were a frog who was a witch.
Yeah, a frog, a witch, or a bear in the game, or sometimes some combination of the two or three. So we were just laughing so hard. Like all these indie games, it's like almost like they all got sent out the memo. Like, okay, this year, the year 2022.
This is the theme.
This is our theme. So I don't know. There's no way to guess what it'll be next year, but it was pretty entertaining. But
well, yeah, there's no way to guess, but there is a way to know for sure that it won't be frogs and witches and stuff this year. They've exhausted it. Yeah. Right. Like everyone who wants to make a witch frog farming simulator game has made it and then put it in a direct this year. So we won't see any more going forward, at least not for a very long time.
I think there was two games with bears and bed and breakfast. There was Bear and Breakfast, and then I think there's another one with a different name that also had a bear and like it was
running a facility,
some sort of facility. I'm like, what? Like, wait, this is the same game twice. Like, what's happening? So funny. Despite that, though, like, I don't want to belittle indie games, though, like by saying, like, when I say that,
oh no, we're just having a bit of fun.
When I say that, though, like, there's still, even within those games, I've painted with a broad brush, but when you actually look at them, they're all so different and so unique and so cool. Different art styles, different gameplay mechanics that they're bringing to the table. Like, I was shocked. Like, you guys need to go watch the Wholesome Direct and Day of the Devs if you haven't, because I seriously am just so surprised and so shocked when I see stuff like that. Cause like, holy cow, like with AAA games, like you kind of just get the same,
browns,
the same but different. You get the same but different every time. Yeah. Like it's like the same thing, just the little differences. In the indie
over
games,
the shoulder.
With indie games, obviously this year there was a lot of the same because we made a joke about it. But in general, there's actually like a huge like span of genres, art styles from hand drawn to hand painted to made on.
It was like a game jam.
Like it was insane. So yeah, I'm super stoked about what's coming up next year at Wholesome Direct and Day of the Devs for sure. By the way, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I tweeted about after the Wholesome Direct a Frog's Tale. It's a Kickstarter. It's still going on right now. I backed it over there, and they just got fully funded the other day, and I'm so freaking stoked. That game looks amazing. So congrats to the makers of Frog's Tale, and I'm excited to start getting some demos. I'm hoping to I backed it at the tier where I can get some early access stuff. So I'm excited.
Oh baby, you got to keep me posted on that one,
dude. I'm stoked out of my mind. But here's Sir Prince-A-Lot's second question. We'll see how this one goes. You're all drafting a football team made up of video game characters. Quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, O-line, D-line, LB. I don't even know what that stands for. Safety. Linebacker. Safety, and kicker, to keep it simple, he says. Yeah, all right. Who are you picking and why? Now, everyone was making fun of me in the Discord saying, oh, Garrett doesn't know what any of those words mean. And you're right. I don't know about half of those words. I don't know.
I know some of these words.
But I think I know some of them. I know quarterback. I know that's the guy who throws the ball. They snap the ball to the quarterback. He either passes or runs with it. I don't know what a halfback is. Not at all. Wide receiver. He catches the ball that the quarterback throws. The linebackers are.
I'm not helping you.
That's defense. That's defense, right? Like they're on the line.
You're doing good.
Okay.
They're not on the line. That's the D line.
Okay, then I don't know. Then I know what a D line. I don't know what the linebackers are. Then.
It's in the name.
Wait, I don't.
They back up the line, Garrett.
Okay, they back up the line. That makes sense. That makes sense. No idea what a safety is. I understand what a kicker is. That I do get that one. So Adrian, you know more about sports and things. Old sports ball over there. Who would you pick for your team? I do have a couple picks. I will try to get some, but I don't think I'm gonna get a whole team. I'm sorry, Sir Prince a lot.
Okay, let me give you mine. Give me just a second. All right, so for my quarterback, I picked Cloud from Final Fantasy. I think Cloud has a good tactical mind, being a soldier, first class. I think he's got a good mix of strength and speed. Mainly, I picked him because I know that like I said, he's got a really good. He's able to read situations really well, and I think you need to have that to be a good quarterback. My offensive line is made up of all big daddies from BioShock.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no way that, any normal team is getting anywhere near Cloud. So he has all the time in the world to throw. Not worried about that at all. My D line is all charging chucks from Super Mario World.
Okay.
For anybody who hasn't played Super Mario World, it is a football themed enemy that is
it's like a Koopa
very,
in a
very
football costume. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's a really big beefy Koopa in a football costume, and it is very hard to take him out. And the first thing he does when he sees you is rushes right at you. And that's what I want my D-line to do. I want them to go right in there, right at the QB. My wide receiver would be Sonic, because Sonic would run his routes in no time and be crazy open.
Spoilers. Spoiler, I had Sonic written down for wide receiver as well. It's funny.
Oh, here we go.
It's right here. It's on the show notes. You can look.
Sonic can run his routes easy. Burn anybody there is. My halfback would be Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Now,
I think she's the perfect.
What is a halfback? What does a halfback do?
Say what?
What does a halfback do? What the heck does that mean?
He's like how would I put it? So you have your running back, right? Hello?
Yes. I guess. I don't know. Yes. You might have one. Yeah.
I was like,
run back that tape? Is that what you're saying?
Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Like,
I don't know what a running back
okay, so you have your running back.
Is he the one who runs it? I thought the quarterback runs the ball.
No, what? I don't. Okay, wait a minute.
Sometimes, right? Sometimes the quarterback will run the ball, right?
Sometimes, yes, the quarterback will run the ball. Sometimes. It depends on the situation. If it's a play that is made for the quarterback to run, then the quarterback will run. But if the quarterback has no other options, then yes, they will run.
Okay. All right. So the running back is the one who actually runs.
The running back is right there.
He's supposed to run.
That's his job.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not faking this at all. I don't. I've watched.
I find it so hard.
I've watched football, and I know these words, but I don't know what most of them do. The words I'm familiar with. I'm not going to pretend I don't know the words. I just don't know what the heck they are or what they do. Okay, cool.
Okay, so a halfback is a running back in a different position.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So
the further back he goes, depending on the formation, that's when his back status changes. So there could be a running back, which is up close. Mm-hmm. There could be a halfback, which is a little further back. And then there could be a tailback, which is all the way back if you're playing what's called the I formation.
Okay.
But he only asked about a halfback, so that's like midway, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. I don't.
So my halfback would be Cassandra. Okay. I think from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think she's the perfect mixture of muscle and grit, right? Like she could how could I say? The way that she fights tells me that if I hand her the ball, nobody's getting in her way. Like, doesn't matter who it is. She's knocking them out of the way.
Yeah.
Just based off seeing how she fights and how she carries herself as a warrior. So that goes without saying on that one. I feel very comfortable having her come from the backfield all the way up and taking it to the house every time. Especially with big daddies on the O-line to make the hole. Forget about it. Excuse me. So my linebackers, now we're switching over to defense, are the henchmen from the Batman games. The ones that all go, oh, it's the bat. I want to, all my linebackers are those guys. Because they love to run up on Batman. Yeah. Even though they know exactly what's going to happen to him, they still rush in the face of danger. No fear. No fear. So that's definitely who I want for my linebacker. And then for my safety, he didn't specify if it was a strong safety or not. So I'm going to go with a strong safety. Strong safety means Garrett. It means it's the safety that is the chunkier of the two, because he has to worry about the other chunkier players on the field on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay.
Free safety is a little more lankier. He's a little more free. He can get where he needs to go. He's a little more agile. So for my strong safety, I picked DK. I feel like I feel like as a last line of defense, DK is more mobile than a Charging Chuck or a Big Daddy, right? Even though we're talking about defense right now, DK is a little more mobile than a Charging Chuck. And I think he can get around, and he's ultra strong, right? So she should be able to still get around pretty good and give him that good windmill. Oh, I guess he's not going to punch him in football, but you know what I mean. He is going to be able to stop most players cold in their tracks. And then finally, for my kicker, I picked the best kicker there is. I got Chun-Li.
Okay, that's in my head. When I read kicker, I was trying to think of like a good, like, I was trying to go through all the fighting games in my head. I'm like, who's a good kicker? Like, I was struggling to come up with something, but
Chun-Li will kick a football 4 fields to keep going.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
She's good to go. So yeah.
Okay.
That is my roster based on the question.
Wow. Well, I don't have a full roster, but there's what I came up with. I have Kratos for quarterback, especially after the most recent game with his axe. He's good at throwing. He's very accurate. So that's what I was going off of. I was like, he could chuck that ball, pinpoint accuracy, you know where it's going. Like I said, I had Sonic.
Wait, who was it? Sorry?
Kratos.
Okay.
Yeah, because after the new God of War with
catch the ball,
the Leviathan axe. As I said before, spoiler, I had Sonic as well as wide receiver, because you can just like zip right there, and be ready for that lightning bolt of a football heading across the field like Kratos is checked. I had for my D line. I just said Rhino from Spider-Man, which
Spider-Man.
If they could clone Rhino and they had a bunch of rhinos, I just want a bunch of rhinos from Spider-Man as my D line, as my or maybe that would be better as an offensive line though, because he could just like plow right through you want the D line because then they can get through and get to the other people's quarterback. I don't know. And then the other things I didn't have anything else. That's all I had. That's those three. So there you go. There's my. That's all you need though. That's all you need.
You know what? I'll give you credit where credit is due. They said you couldn't do it. And they said you didn't know anything, and you gave them a couple at least.
I got three. That's pretty good.
So take your wins where you could get them.
And I learned something new. You schooled me tonight, so thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime you want to watch a game, I'm down.
All right, let's do it. That's the thing. I enjoy watching football. That's the thing. I've watched quite a bit of football, but I just never was educated.
See, I like watching football. I hate playing football.
I didn't grow up in a sports family. Like my dad we watched NASCAR. that was our sport. Like we didn't watch basketball. We didn't watch football. I didn't play. I mean, it
counts. It's not one of the major sports, but
yeah. So I didn't grow up with like even, yeah, I don't know anything about basketball hardly. I don't know anything about football hardly, baseball, none of those. Like I can tell you a lot about NASCAR and auto racing, let me tell you. Oh man. All right. Well, that's it for the questions this week. Now it is time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
All right, we are deep into the end zone on this show. See what I did there?
Yeah. Don't run. You're just opening yourself back up. We got past the question. You made it.
All right. I should just leave it. Okay. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. Isn't that old Kylo Ren, the best Star Wars character ever created? This first news story comes from Casey David Meir Taylor over at IGN, and they write, Final Fantasy VII Remake is now a 3-part trilogy.
Let's go.
That's right. Today, this was as of June 16th, I believe, at Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary celebrations live stream, the next installment in the Final Fantasy VII universe, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, was revealed in a brand new trailer. Alongside that information, it was also revealed that Rebirth would be the second in what is now a 3-part trilogy from Square Enix. The trilogy situates itself in the greater Final Fantasy VII compilation with a newly announced Crisis Core, which we'll talk about in a minute, which will be out this winter. But Final Fantasy VII Remake stayed faithful to the original in many ways. But there were a number of changes that had fans both confused and intrigued for what's to come. In a separate message, Nomura said that development on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 has already begun, which is awesome. Today's new trailer asks a question, what is fact and what is fiction? This points towards some of the larger narrative changes featured in the remake of the beloved 1997 JRPG. The trailer features more questions than answers as we see Cloud with his trusty Buster sword on his back, walking alongside Sephiroth on the outskirts of some mountains. What's so funny?
I thought you were gonna say with his trusty buddy Sephiroth.
Trusty buddy. Well, I mean that's what we see in the trailer though. With his trusty Buster sword walking alongside Sephiroth on the outskirts of some mountains.
That is definitely different.
Interesting. They're friends now, huh? Maybe not. We'll have to play wait and see. But Final Fantasy VII, what do they call it? Doesn't even say in this article. What the heck was it? Rebirth, there it is been announced. It is slated for next winter, 2023 is what they're shooting for. We'll see if they can stick to that date. But Adrian, what was your thoughts on that announcement?
Let me tell you, this game is goddamn gorgeous. And the first one was nothing to sneeze at either. So for it to outshine the first one,
yeah,
man, people are in for a real treat. I dig the fact that they're splitting it up into 3 parts because the original game was on 3 discs, so it was 3 parts too. I mean, granted, they had to do that because of the video files being real big, but right. it kind of mirrors the 3-act, 3-disc structure. So I get that. It's interesting to me that they think that they can wrap it up in 3 games, but also they're not following the strict 7 formula. So the story could end up being much shorter and still getting whatever point across that is, because there's, it's not necessarily the exact same story. Maybe it starts off the same, but maybe it ends completely different than the original game. Who knows?
Right.
So that's fine with me. I don't know. I hate that as of right now, 2022, that I'm gonna have to watch it. But
yeah,
you gotta do what you gotta do because it's not coming to.
Yep. So Final Fantasy VII Remake got an announcement. It's coming to Steam, and it's out on Steam now. So if you have a PC, you can play Final Fantasy VII Remake. Right. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming next year. At this point, it's only coming out for PlayStation. And yeah, no other consoles announced at this time for Remake,
which is wild because you would think it would at least come for PC since you already put the first part up there. Why not?
But it was the first. I assume it's a timed exclusive thing again. Like I'm sure when.
How do they keep getting this?
I don't know. I wonder.
It can't. Sony doesn't have that much money.
I mean, I wonder if it just comes down to just like, I mean, the original Final Fantasy VII was only on PlayStation, correct? So I wonder if it is kind of just like a out of respect thing. Like, who knows? There might not even be money being exchanged. Maybe it's just like, hey, you know what? You were the home to this classic originally, so we're just gonna like, there might be some money exchanged, but maybe
I was gonna say that's a few.
I'm sure there's some money being exchanged. I'm sure not, Square Enix isn't doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a few giant markets that you're willing to give up on for respect's sake.
Yeah, but I imagine that's probably why it's only a timed exclusive and not like just an outright exclusive, is because of that. Because it's just like, it's not as much as they could be giving, but it's something. But yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, so you guys all know I've never played the original, so I don't know the story at all. So I don't even know, which honestly, the more I'm hearing about how different so far the first one and then the second one looks, at least based off the trailer, more and more like I really want to go back and play 7. Like, I want to try it and because that way I have like a baseline. I can go back and like see like, okay, this is how it's differing and stuff like that. But either way, like, I saw the trailer and like you said, it's gorgeous. It looks so freaking good. And I the first one was a huge shocker to me. I don't know if you guys remember. I was not down
Your
to play
eyes
it.
were open.
Yeah, I was not down to play it. I was not excited. I was like, screw this. Like, it's a stupid Final Fantasy. Like, I've always wanted to give him a shot. Like, they always looked interesting, but I don't know. I was just like, I kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. I'm like, no, it's whatever. I'm not going to touch it. And then it was the night it was releasing. It was like 8:30, Pacific time. We get it unlocked at 9 because 3 hours behind. And so I remember like texting Zetch or something, and he's like, dude, like, you should try it. I think you're gonna like it. And so I was like, you know what, I'll bite the bullet, I'll do it, I'll go for it. And I fell in love with it. Yeah, I opened my eyes and I was like, this game is incredible. I think I beat it in like 3 days. Like, I blew through it, which, if you guys know me at all, like, I barely get time to play games because I have two kids and a family. Not now, son. And all this stuff. And that game, I was like, I need to finish it now. Like, I just blew through it.
Everyone, leave me alone.
Go, leave me. So I'm stoked for number 2. And like, it's cool. It's, on one hand, it's cool being in the dark because I don't know. Like, I don't have anything to go off of for the original. But again, the more I'm hearing how different it is, it also has me feeling like, oh, it might be fun to like play the original, so then I can even like be like, oh, here's where those huge differences, or some of those differences, are popping up and stuff like that. But I don't know. What would you think about that? Like, would it be worth me playing the original, or? Because I feel like in general, I've heard a lot of people say not to touch the original, or because it's old. Like, they're like, old games are old.
No. That's not anybody who tells you that is young.
Okay.
By default, there's no way no one would tell you, oh, don't play one of the most highly regarded games in history, huh? It's tough because you started out with Remake. I don't know how you would take the original story at this point because it does differ so much.
Okay.
I would say finish Remake, play the side game still, right? So like, you have Crisis Core, you're playing Crisis Core now.
Yeah.
There's another game that has to do with another character that should be coming up in part 2. So once part 2 comes out, then I would say play that other game and then wait for part 3.
Okay.
And then once you finish part 3, then you could go back and play the original, because then you'll see it'll feel like an alternate.
You want me to wait
too? You
want me to wait 10 years before I play the original? Is what you're saying?
It's not gonna be 10 years.
I mean, it's screwing.
You're already getting the part 2 next year.
Yeah, it's been what, 5 years? Okay, so I'd have to wait another 5 years.
No, it came out 2019.
Was it? Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 2018. Was it 2019? Okay.
It was 2019.
Okay. All right.
It's not that long at all.
We'll see.
And I'm pretty sure they're gonna remake the other side game too if they remake Crisis Core. So just hold on to your pants. It'll be there.
Well, with that, let's move on to this next story. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is what they're calling it, announced for this winter. So next year we're getting Final Fantasy Rebirth. This year we're getting the Crisis Core remake, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII is really real, writes Rebecca Valentine over at IGN, with Zack in all his glory. Announced at today's Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary stream, Crisis Core is planned for release on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC sometime this winter. Crisis Core is a prequel to the original Final Fantasy VII released for PSP in the West in 2008, which we're currently playing right now and will be the Super Gamer Book Club episode next.
Don't mind me, just doing some squats.
This is
an appropriate time, just like Zach.
The game is so good. I've been loving it.
Keep going. I'm here.
Super Gamer Book Club. We're going to be talking about it next week. So support us on Patreon to hear us talk about the original. But the game gained unexpected new relevance when Final Fantasy VII Remake seemed to include a shot-for-shot remake of Crisis Core's ending, but drastically changed its outcome, seemingly setting up sequel protagonist Zack Fair for an appearance in the main games. We caught another glimpse of Zack later during the show too, as part of the trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice he was in the trailer for Rebirth too, indicating that he'll
near the end
continue to have a greater role in the remake series, as well as it seems to be shifting a number of the original game's main story beats. With Final Fantasy VII Remake now situated as a trilogy, Crisis Core Reunion seems to be positioned as a prequel to the new story the series is trying to tell. Man, when I saw this, I got so hyped because I'm playing Crisis Core for the first time in my entire life right now on PSP, and I've been actually really enjoying it. And then to get this, it was funny. I wasn't expecting to recognize anything at this stream. I saw it pop up on YouTube. I'm like, I'll watch it. Why not? And then I saw that. I'm like, wait, I know this. I know what's going on here. Like, oh,
so
man.
You're saying I can cut loose? Oh, baby, let's go.
I was so stoked, but yeah, I can't believe that they are just like, they're not shadow dropping it, but that just seems so soon. Like they just announced it to come out this winter. That's just not how Square Enix rolls. I feel like normally it's like, oh yeah, coming out next year. Like they give you a heads up. So that's huge. Like 6 months.
But that's what's weird is that is coming to everything.
Yes.
Crisis Core is coming to everything.
You're right. Yeah. That's coming to all the Xbox consoles, PC, all the PlayStation, everything. So, which is crazy. Was it coming to Nintendo?
That's like
it is coming to Switch.
It's even coming to Switch.
Coming to Switch too.
It's gonna look awful, mind you, but it's coming to Switch.
Oh man!
But the fact that they were like, "Here, you can have the prequel to this story. You want to know what happens next? Sorry, come on, man."
Yeah. Well, I mean, they gotta sell those PlayStation 5 somehow. They don't have any other. They don't have any other games to sell the console, so they gotta come up with something.
They can't keep the console on the shelf. I think they're doing just fine selling PS5s.
Yeah, I mean, they're not selling them; they're just not making them. That's the problem. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
Problem number one: they're just not making them. Problem two: they don't have anything to actually, warrant getting it at this point. But that's besides the point. Yes, my sentiments for this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, exact same feeling for this game. I'm so stoked. And especially if having played the original, like now that I'm in the process of playing the original, I'm like, oh, this would be so cool. And granted, the PSP version still looks incredibly good, especially the cutscenes. It blows my mind.
It's phenomenal for that system.
Yeah, how good those cutscenes are in the game on PSP. But seeing this, like the entire game, and I would hope they're going to update the battle system, maybe if it's closer to Final Fantasy Remake with the action system and stuff like that. Like, oh man, I'm excited. This is going to be an awesome 2 years for Final Fantasy. But yeah. Do you have any more to add about old Crisis Core there, Adrian?
I love Crisis Core to death. I'm looking forward to this. I would be stoked too if they took the remake route and did changes to the story to affect exactly, what the whole vibe of the remake line. I mean, I don't know exactly what they could do to change it, but I would love to see either them, because I feel like if you were gonna do a shot for shot, why not just up-res the original game at this point? But I would dig it if they did something different, because we still have the original.
Yeah.
If we wanted to go back to it.
I mean, with what they're changing in the mainline games, I imagine this will be pretty different from the original.
Yeah, they have to.
It has
just
to.
for continuity's sake, yeah.
I mean, if they do a shot-for-shot remake of it, it's going to make people who play that and then go play the remakes are going to be so confused when they go and play like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, wait a second, or like, and then
wait, I thought that guy died.
Yeah, or like when Part 2 comes out, they're gonna be like, wait, what's going on here? But yeah, it's good time for Final Fantasy fans. That's for sure.
We eating.
And did you see that sick mobile game too? Looking dope. All those microtransactions and loot boxes. I love it.
I blocked that out mentally.
Oh man, it's so bad.
And then today I almost forgot, since we're on our Final Fantasy kick. Happy 25th anniversary to the greatest tactics game that's ever been made, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, I saw that.
Turned 25 years old today. Now,
crazy.
If Square wants to be on their, renaissance here, Final Fantasy Tactics can do with a remaster. Let's get that going.
Dang, I've only played a little tiny bit because they had a phone port, right? I think I played on my iPhone. That's how I didn't play it originally on PlayStation.
It's on the phone.
It was later on iPhone. I played like a little bit, really enjoyed it. But that would be one, like, yeah, if they kind of did like what they're doing with what's that one franchise on Switch right now that they're, because it's a similar type game, right?
Which one? Triangle Strategy.
I don't know. I can't think of the one. Anyways, yeah, a new updated up-res version would be sick of that for sure. I can't think of the game I'm thinking of, but oh man. Oh, Yogurt Archangel in the chat asked, "What's the best Final Fantasy?" Well, for me, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake because that's actually the only one I've ever played through. But Adrian has a lot bigger history than I do. So
the best Final Fantasy? Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, here come all the nerds. Oh yeah, it's 14. Good. No, relax. The best story-based Final Fantasy. If I had to explain to somebody what is Final Fantasy, I think it would probably be 10. And I'm not saying that because it's my favorite Final Fantasy, but I'm just saying that has all the hallmarks of what a Final Fantasy game is. I think it has all the story hallmarks, all the gameplay hallmarks, all the big iconic summons, all that different kind of stuff. It's a perfect example of a Final Fantasy game that's not focused on one core mechanic.
Now that's the one with that sports ball game, right?
Yeah, Blitzball.
Yeah. I remember the Pizza Hut demo for that. Or no, it wasn't Pizza Hut demo. Maybe it was. It was some demo. I had some demo of it somewhere, somehow. I remember that one. I think that's on... Is that on Game Pass? Or it was on Game Pass?
10 is on everything.
Yeah, I know it's on all the consoles. I mean, like, I think it was on Game Pass. I know it was at PlayStation Now before they ruined the system. Let me tell you.
Hang on, I gotta stop chat. Chizo, if you're about to do what I think you're about to do... Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna talk bad about Blitzball, and I was gonna have to do a timeout. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, he actually is.
Blitzball is our national pastime, and it will not be disrespected.
Yeah, he's actually very upset with me. For those of you who can't see chat, he says, "That sports ball game, I will smack that baby off your shelf, sir." I'm sorry. Ooh. I've never played through the whole thing. I just remember the intro video. Basically, that's all it is on the demo that I play. Is like the intro video, and then you fight some things, and then the demo ends. That's it. Everything goes dark. Kelvin Ball, Yogurt says.
Come on, man. I'm an Abe's fan till I die. I'm a Xanark and Abe fan till I die. You if you play 10, you know what I'm talking about. Chizo knows what I'm talking about.
Oh man. All right, this last news story is just a rumor / leak. It seems to be pretty much all but confirmed, basically from both Bloomberg and IGN have independently confirmed this. But again, it's from their sources, so not from PlayStation themselves. But apparently, God of War Ragnarok seemingly planned for release in November. This is written by Joe Screbbles at IGN. Seemingly planned for a November release after rumors of it delayed to 2023. So I know just a few weeks ago we talked about that delay, that rumor for 2023, but Bloomberg came out and reported that A Long Way to Sequel will see a formal release date announced this month in June with a planned November date. IGN has also heard about that planned date from sources with inside knowledge. It was originally planned for release in September, but subsequently pushed to November. The original September slot is seemingly now filled by Last of Us Part 1 remake. So you can all thank Last of Us Part 1 remake for pushing God of War Ragnarok to November, which is something.
Dumb. It's 10 years old.
Oh, man. After being announced for a 2021 release, which is the reason I bought a PS5 in 2021, both for Death Stranding Director's Cut and God of War, the return of Kratos and Atreus was eventually delayed to 2022. Apparently because of...
Did you say Atreus?
Atreus, sorry.
Didn't you play this game?
I did. Sometimes my brain is somewhere else.
Chat!
Go ahead.
Boo this man!
Roast me right here. I'm gonna keep reading the article when I come back to chat. I wanted to see all the Garrett roast get going on in there right now. Apparently, because of surgery undergone by voice actor Christopher Judge. However, a long period of silence around the game has led to rumors that it had been delayed once more, despite the game receiving a South Korean rating, which often signals a game due for release soon. So, blah blah blah. There's not much more to this, but God of War, is it coming out this year? Or is that all just a fairy tale dream that we've made up in our heads?
I keep hearing from left and right. Like, some people are saying, there's like a lot of turmoil at Sony Santa Monica right now. Who knows if it's even coming out? And then you hear, oh no, from random people on the team who have nothing to do with deciding the date. All come up and say, no, it's coming out this November. Yes, sir, on the art team, I trust your opinion that it's coming out in November. Thank you very much, sir. I don't understand what they lose by delaying it. Like, the people who are going to buy it in November are going to buy it, in April if they need to.
The only thing they lose is what we've talked about multiple times over like the last month of podcast. Go back to any of the episodes this last month, 2 months, where me and Adrian talk about how there's no games on next gen consoles. So as a way to sell consoles, which aren't even available because they're barely making them, they're losing out on that. That's what they're losing out on, is for them to be able to say, look at all these exclusives, which unfortunately this is coming to PS4 as well. So even that doesn't make any sense. It's not even
exclusive.
It's not even exclusive, but still.
I was just going to say,
if you just for like 2 minutes, we can just pretend like we're Sony executives and think like them just for 2 minutes. I know it's going to be excruciatingly painful, but I think that's what's going through their head, is like, obviously they wouldn't want to delay it because that just means less like hype for them to be like, go get a PS5 and buy God of War Ragnarok.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You delay it to April, that gives you more time to manufacture and ship more PS5s so that when it does release in April, you're going to move a gang of more units than you would in November.
100%. No, they have more to benefit from by waiting.
Right.
But I don't know. I laughed so hard when I first read the article, and I love how it was originally slated for September, but got pushed by The Last of Us Part 1. Can we go back to that?
Sure.
The fact that they pushed a massive game like God of War. I mean, if they push God of War Ragnarok because they need more time, then great. But if they really just pushed it because they wholeheartedly believe that The Last of Us Part 1 is going to be like the next best thing since sliced bread or something like that. Like,
it's going to sell just like it did when it first came out.
I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Like why they, yes, Last of Us Part 1 looks incredible. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be a cool way to introduce brand new players who haven't played the original for whatever reason. It's been remastered twice now, right? Once for PS4 and once for PS5. Well, remastered with quotes, I guess.
And then remade.
Yeah. So it just blows my
but
mind
not only that
they would bump a blockbuster like God of War with a remake like of Last of Us Part 1. Like that just blows my mind. that's
and then on top of that, it's $70. Who is gonna pay that?
Yeah, they're charging
Who?
you. They're charging you for that remake. Holy smoke!
Full price. Full price.
Absolutely crazy.
You can pick that up on PS3 for like $11 right now.
Right? Yeah. And they keep, I love how over the last like week or two, they keep showing the side by sides with like from The Last of Us Remaster and The Last of Us Remake. And
they both look good.
Fidelity wise, the new one does look exponentially better, but the remaster, I feel like looks freaking fantastic, and
it looks more expressive than the new one to me.
But it actually has like character to it, where the remake,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the new remake, like fidelity wise, it's the asset wise, it's all using high pixel, 4K whatever assets, and it looks extremely realistic, uncanny valley, lifelike. But the original doesn't look bad. It just had like a actual art style to it. That's what they're almost taking the character, like the art style out of it, just to make it photorealistic
in favor of whoa, Joel actually looks like a 66-year-old man. Wow. Wow, look at those liver spots. Wow. Come on, man. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but it's Sony. It's Jim Ryan Sony.
Yeah, who
knows? They could come out and say we're bringing the Aren't they supposed to be doing that? Aren't they supposed to be remaking PS4s? Like they're starting PS4 production back up? Or was that just something they told investors to ease their worries about not enough PS5s being out there? Didn't we read something about that?
Yeah, I think they were. But I mean, there is a cutoff date, but yeah, it's still like a couple years out. Like, so they are still making PS4s.
There's no way they could be, because I walked into a GameStop the other day and I just happened to be perusing, and a PS4 Pro in 2022 was $390 used. That was $10 less than what it cost brand new.
I don't think they're making Pros. They discontinued the Pros and they're just making the base models. So that kind of.
But even the base models were like 190 something, 290, like it was 240 something.
Yeah, I mean,
for a PS4, a standard PS4 in 2022,
I don't think they've dropped prices. Like when they announced that, I don't remember them saying they were going to drop prices, which blows my mind. Like the fact that for a
PS4 these days probably costs like $40 to make.
But they didn't. They got to make their money somewhere. They're not making their money from PS5s because they can't make them fast enough. So they're just selling PS4s for the same retail price they were 10 years ago.
Hence why God of War is coming out on it.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's it for the news this week. Now it is time for our Patreon ad.
Sweet.
This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. $1, and that gets you episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. Maybe you listen just on our podcast and you get it later like everyone else on Wednesday. Well, Monday night after we record it live on Twitch, you could get it right away. Say you tuned in halfway through tonight on Twitch and you're like, shoot, I missed the beginning of the episode. I don't want to wait till Wednesday. Again, support us on Patreon. You can get the whole thing right to your box, and it helps support us. You also get Super Gamer Book Club early and ad-free as well. So usually about 2 months before anyone else, you get those episodes, and you get access to season 1, which is hosted by our beloved late Zech Keenan, co-host from back in the day, if you remember him. It's been a couple years. It's weird to think about that. It's already been a couple years since he's been gone. But yeah, go check out some original episodes of Super Gamer Book Club there with old Zechi. $5 a month, you get show notes early, and so you can see what we're going to talk about on the show before the show happens. You can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts on those news stories that we're going to be talking about. $10 a month, you get shout outs on the show. You can get you can be a Super Gamer sponsor, and we'll shout you out right here each and every week. And then there's a Patreon producer tier where you can be our boss and pitch us a segment and say, hey, you know what? I think it'd be cool if you try this or do that, or do the other thing. You know what? We get some cool ideas from people. We have a few Patreon producers that we love. Not all of them, just some of them, you know. No, just kidding. We love all our Patreon producers, and it's fun. Kind of like collaborate with them a little bit. So support us at the Patreon level or the producer level if you really love what we do and you want to kind of be a part of that, kind of pitch some ideas there. So that's it for Patreon. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. You can also support us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/TheSuperGamerBoys. If you're here tonight with us, or even if you're not, if you're listening later, follow us. That's free. Then you always know when we're going to go live. But also, if you have, I wrote it down here now so I don't mess it up. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. You can link your Amazon to your Twitch account, and you get one free sub a month. And would you kindly send that free Prime our way? That would be very much appreciated. Getting that subscription, it helps us on both ends. So thank you very much for listening to this ad. Now, let's get back to the show. Alrighty, Adrian, it's that time, and I want to hear, I imagine it's going to be very similar to what I played, but Adrian, what you playing?
I'm on the tail end of Crisis Core, wrapping it up.
Okay.
Still fantastic. I am also, what have I been playing recently? Good question. Good. Oh, I've been playing a game on Playdate called Spellcorked. What? You okay?
I'm sorry, I was just reading chat. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Carry on. Thank you, Chizo, for subscribing with Prime.
I'm not gonna give the context for the listeners. I'm not doing that. It doesn't need to be. It needs to stay here.
Our Twitch VODs stay up for like a month or two or something like that. So you can always go watch the VOD and you can see the chat later if you really want to know what happens, where all the cool kids hang out on Monday night.
I've been playing a new Playdate game called Spellcorked, which is keeping on theme. You play it as a young witch who has recently graduated from university. You're like a full-fledged witch now. And you open up your own shop.
Wait, this is an indie game, and you're a witch?
Yeah, okay. Pretty much. That's why I said keep it on theme.
Is it a farming simulator as well?
Well, I mean, you do get ingredients to use in your potions. So
there we go.
Fair point. So you run a business where you make different potions and stuff like that for different clients, and they have different methods of it. So like sometimes you have to use a cauldron where you would turn the crank to stir the potion up, or you would need to I forgot what that's called. You know when you grind ingredients up in that little stone bowl?
Oh yeah, the mortar and pestle.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So you have to use that sometimes to grind stuff up, and then you have to do it, based on their order of what kind of potion that they want. So like sometimes I'll be like, I want a potion that makes me angry, or I want a potion that makes me go to sleep, or different things like that. And it's pretty rad. Like every time you finish a potion too, when you pour it, you have to turn the Playdate on its side like you're trying to pour it into the bottle.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize the Playdate had a gyroscope in it.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
So that one's pretty sick. That's kind of pretty much what I've been into is that and Crisis Core. Okay. So I got two new drops this morning too. I have to check on.
Ooh, nice. I was playing around with Playdate Pulp this last weekend. I just played around with the music maker, and I made the Stranger Things theme song in the Playdate like music maker, because I mean they have all the synths and stuff built in, so it's like a do 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 bum bum. It was like it was so much fun playing with that. I'm like, okay, I can get down with this.
Now you got to make a sprite art JJ and have him like walk around a haunted house or something.
So good. Well, what I've been playing, a couple games. I'll start with this first one, which was, I can't remember the name of it. It's not a game, actually. Sorry. Because JJ says so. But I played and finished Unpacking last week.
Congratulations, good sir. I would love to hear your thoughts on this game.
And man, that was... I knew the gist of the gameplay because obviously JJ talked about it, and I've heard you kind of mention it before too. I think I've seen it even on one of your Super Indie Boys. But to experience it from start to finish, I just did it like in one sitting basically, because it's such a short game. And the amount of storytelling and feeling and emotions and all that they portray in this game.
Thank you.
Zero dialogue.
Thank you.
Zero like characters. Like you never see the character. I was blown away. Like I've been shocked.
Trying to tell JJ the entire time. I said, look, you're just thinking of it as putting clothes away. That's not what the game is about. It's the mechanic that they use to tell the story.
Yeah. So it starts out like you're just plopped in a room. The first level is like you're a kid, and it's like 1997 or 8 or something like that. And it's like unpack your room, and you just moved to a new town, and go to town. Or maybe it's earlier than 1997. I remember it's 19
something.
It was in the 90s, I think. Anyways. Yeah, and there's just boxes. You click on the boxes, they open up, items pop out, and you just gotta like stick them places. Like, okay, I got a book, put on the bookshelf. I got my toothbrush, stick in the bathroom. Like, you can go to different rooms, and you literally go through this person's life, like every few years, moving from so moving as a kid, moving to go to college, moving to your first apartment, moving,
in with somebody, moving out from somebody.
Yeah. And that's the thing though. Like they don't explicitly say that. Like it just says like a year, and that's it. So it's like the year, and then they show you the setting, and based off the setting, that's what I was saying. Like it's incredible to be like, oh, like okay, shoot, like that relationship must have felt like they broke up. They're not together anymore. Like this is a new apartment, this is a new home. Or you move back to your parents' house. That's what it is. You move back to I'm like, wait, this room looks familiar. And I'm like, oh, this is like your room, but you're like an adult now, moving back in with the parents and stuff.
Right.
Or oh man, what got me like right in the feels is that level. I'm spoiling stuff, but you could still play this and get all the meaning out of it. Trust me. Like you need to go play this, but
I think I know what you're going to say.
There's a photo album and a picture. And I initially put the photo album on the nightstand and the picture like up on a desk. Cause I mean, it's like a pixely art kind of style, and so like a very simple art style. So to me, it just looked like a random photo album and a picture. And there's certain items in the game where it has to be put in a certain spot, or else it won't let you move on with the level. Like it'll glow red. And I was like, what the heck? Like what? Like so, I put the picture on the wall. I put the picture on the I kept putting it places like out in the open, and finally I took it and I like put it under the bed or like in the closet or something and closed the door, and then it let me move on. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she was so like this character
it didn't end well,
so heartbroken, and like that relationship was so horrible. Like they don't want that out. They don't want to see it. They don't have the guts yet to throw it away and just move on. But I was like, oh my gosh, like right in the field. I'm like, oh, it's so sad. Like holding on to these memories that just are so painful, and just to shut them up in the closet. Not going to talk about it. Not going to look at it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, crazy. Such
tried
a good
to tell
game.
him. I tried to tell JJ. I tried to tell him.
And again, this is with zero dialogue at all. Like there's no voiceover, no talking. You never see the character at all. Like it's all, you just infer everything from what you're pulling out of these boxes and where you're putting it in the house. And it's incredible how they can tell such an emotional story without saying anything. I blew my mind. So go play Unpacking. It's on Game Pass. That's how I played it.
But it's worth the entry
everything.
fee.
Yeah, I think it's on everything, but I play it through Game Pass. Fantastic. Chiso says, are we talking about a game or your recent moving experiences?
We're talking about a game so real emotionally that it feels like a moving experience.
Feels like it. I felt it. I felt every moment of it. But the second game I played was right alongside you and 4 other folks. We played Shredder's Revenge, a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge.
Right. That's
you forgot about that? How can you forget?
No, I wasn't.
That's all I've been dreaming. That's all I've been dreaming about, dude. Same thing with Connor. Connor from Call Me by Your Game. We played.
Well, because I don't think of that as I've been playing. I think of that as like a us thing, like a all of us thing. Because when you ask what I've been playing, you know, that's where my mind goes. But yeah, of course we played Shredder's Revenge. We played it 6-man style.
Chaos, absolute chaos. It was insane. It was a crew of 6 of us, and man, that was so fun. Connor hit us up on, it was like Saturday morning. He's like, hey, you guys free this afternoon to play Shredder's Revenge? We're like, heck yeah. So we jumped in a party with a few other just fantastic folks, and man, what a blast. I was Splinter. Who are you? Were you
I was Raph.
Okay, you were Raph. Boy, that game just gets everything right. Like, it just feels so good. Even with the chaos. Oh man, go ahead.
It's a little early, but it's from what I've played so far, we're about 3/4 of the way through the game, and it is shaping up to be in my top 3 this year.
Wow.
I have been waiting for this game since they announced it, and every time I've seen it, they've been hyping it up more and more with more cool stuff. And this is one of the first games that I can remember in recent history actually like being hyped to 1,000,000 and then living up to that hype. Yes. For me anyway.
Even the first like the intro song and like video that pops up when you first fire it up. So awesome. Like, yes. and it just keeps repeating. Like, if you wait long enough on the menu screen, it just plays again. And there's one point where I like sat there and just let it run. You're like, it was so good. The theme song,
that whole soundtrack is
the banging. Animation. It is so freaking good. Gameplay wise, like, it feels great. To be honest, I'm still overwhelmed by the amount of like combos and controls there are. Like, obviously there's the basic stuff. Like, you can just left, right, punch, up, down, kick, all that stuff. But there's a lot more you can do. That's just like, my brain's like, I don't need to do it, so I'll try like one thing at a time. Like, it
gets you better results.
But holy cow, like, I was shocked really by how many like cool combos and stuff like that you can do in the game for such like a simple like just beat 'em up game. They're like, no, we're gonna give you a whole slew of cool things you can do if you can if you can remember it. I need a little printout like to put on tape on my monitor or something.
We're gonna give you a way that if you implement all these tactics, you can get through the game without dying.
Yeah.
Granted, it's impossible with 6 people, but if you play by yourself and you got good enough, you can get through the game without dying.
That is one thing. Yeah, it's the screen is chaos. There's so many times where I got lost. I'm like, wait, where's my character? I have no idea what my character is, because you guys are all green. Someone was playing as April, so they were yellow. But my like Splinter, it's just like a reddish brown robe, and a lot of the enemies are kind of like a purplish or reddish brown, like a very similar color palette to mine. So I'm like, I just blend in with the bad guys. I don't know where I am. But so it's a little chaotic with 6 people, but didn't make it any less fun. Like, it was
not at all. I loved it. I love the chaos.
And we're all playing online. So I was on PC. Everyone else is on Xboxes. So it has crossplay between Xbox and PC at least. Nothing else. But for now, Xbox and PC. Apparently in the future, they're working on more consoles. But there was, like, from what I could tell, like zero lag. Like, it
buttery
felt like
smooth.
Yeah, we were all like sitting on the couch playing with each other. Like, that's what it felt like.
And everybody was popping supers. There were enemies all over the screen, and it was still rock solid.
Incredible, the technology that they had, like, some whatever like crazy magic ritual that they had to do to make that work. I don't know.
If that was on an original Turtles arcade board, it would have blown up. It would have blown straight up.
Oh man, so good. So yeah, highly recommend that. Go check it out. And that's also on Game Pass. Like, it's free. Like, I was on the edge of picking up. I think you, Adrian, you're just like, who am I gonna play this game with? Like, you got to get it. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And then they announced like the next day, coming to Game Pass. I'm like, well, that answers that. Guess I'm playing it. Jeez. Jizo, no one clipped that. I think it's been long enough I can say that, and actually no one can clip it. Sitting on the couch playing with each other. Garrett 2022. Yes.
I mean, take it how you want.
As soon as I said that, I realized I said that very wrong.
It's too late. You just got to run with it now. Late. Just stand up in it.
Man, yep. But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Shredder's Revenge.
Excellent
Blew my mind. I was not a beat 'em up player until we did Streets of Rage 4 for book club.
Also excellent.
And then playing this, I'm like, okay, like at least with people doing co-op, like I'm down. Like beat 'em ups, they're a blast. That is so much fun. Give me more. Give us that X-Men one that Eddie wants, you know?
I'm down. I'm there.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's all I've been playing. I think that's it. All we got for the show tonight. So I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you all for watching live here on Twitch, watching and listening later on YouTube or podcast services. We appreciate each and every one of you. We know you have a million other things you could be watching, listening to. So the fact that you choose us, we're just so grateful for that and for all of your support and love over the last few years. We've been doing this for we started in 2018, was it?
A cool minute.
17. I don't remember. It's been a while. So we've been doing this a while, and we don't have any intention to stop anytime soon, but it's just crazy. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, man, we've been doing this for a while, and it's just so cool to see like people still sticking with us through all the years. So thank you. If you love what we do, want to help us out, make bigger and better things, get us to that $100 a month goal so we can launch that freaking new show, the Super Later Boys, our IRL kind of chit chat, hanging out podcast. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. Support us over there. We'd very much appreciate it. You can head over to sgbstore.com. That's another way to support us. Buy some merch. We got t-shirts, we got mugs, we got stickers. You can go over there. Face mask, if you need a cool new face mask for work, go check it out. And then, that helps at least not only financially support us, but gets the word out. People are like, hey, what's that awesome shirt you're wearing? Or what's that cool mask you're wearing? Hey, this is a cool podcast. Go check it out. So rate and review us on your favorite podcast feeds. Go to YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all the good things. Remember to check out Jack Sriracha and Yate. That's the music you hear here in the background of our show. Fantastic. Links to Spotify and Apple Music will be in the show descriptions below on YouTube and podcast services. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
Sweet. And JJ, forget about JJ. You don't need to follow him. He's cheating on us with his other podcast.
You can find him in the streets. That's where you can find him.
You can find him at Raw. Go watch WWE Raw tonight. And maybe you'll find him. Maybe not, because he looks.
Good luck. It's like apparently. Where's Waldo in there?
All right. Well, that's all I got.
All righty. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us for another week. For gorgeous Garrett Morlang, that's right, I stole it from JJ. And for me, Adrian Homeboy Holmes, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
All right, back to my squats, my Zach squats. Here we go.
Zach squats together.
Down and up.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. I'll keep going. You take us out.